200 Apache warriors, all super quiet, sitting on their horses in a perfect line right outside Tobias Whitfield's barn. Nobody moves, nobody talks. They're just waiting there, super still, and it's so quiet it's creepy. Every settler nearby can feel something's gone really wrong. Tobias is inside, pressed against the barn wall, holding his rifle so tight his hands are shaking. He peeks through a crack in the wood and sees them, faces painted, lances shining in the morning sun, staring at his farm like hawks watching a mouse. His heart's pounding because one awful thought hits him. Where's Emma? His 8-year-old daughter was playing by the creek when he went to check on a sick calf just an hour ago. Now she's gone, and 200 of the scariest warriors in Kansas are surrounding his place like they're protecting something super important. The leader of the warriors gets off his horse, slow and steady. Even from far away, Tobias can see the guy's got scars all over his chest and eagle feathers in his hair. The other warriors act like he's a big deal. This isn't just some random group. This guy's a boss. Tobias wipes sweat off his face, his brain spinning. Did they take Emma? Are they here to talk, or are they about to burn everything down? The warrior walks toward the barn, every step careful, his moccasins not even making a sound. Behind him, the other warriors stay frozen, like statues made of stone and shadows. When the warrior stops just 20 feet from the barn door, Tobias feels like he can't breathe. The guy's dark eyes seem to look right through the walls, like he knows exactly where Tobias is hiding and how scared he is. Then, the warrior does something wild. He speaks in perfect English, his voice deep and clear. Tobias Whitfield, I'm Standing Eagle of the Mescalero Apache. We need to talk. The fact that this guy knows Tobias's name sends a chill down his spine. But what's even scarier is how Standing Eagle sounds not mad, not mean, but respectful? He keeps talking, super serious. Your daughter did something yesterday that my people have never seen a white kid do. It's a big deal. Tobias feels like the ground's slipping away. Whatever Emma did, whatever little mistake she made, it got the attention of one of the most powerful Apache leaders around. And now, with 200 warriors behind him, Standing Eagle's here to deal with it. But what could an 8-year-old possibly do to make this happen? And why does Standing Eagle sound like he's here to honor something, not punish it? Tobias's hands shake as he holds his rifle tighter. Every part of him wants to stay hidden, wait for the army to show up, anything but face 200 warriors alone. But Standing Eagle's words keep ringing in his head. Something about Emma, something she did. Taking a shaky breath, Tobias steps out from behind the barn. The second he shows up, every warrior shifts a little on their horses, hands inching toward their weapons. But nobody pulls one out. They just watch, waiting for their leader's orders. Standing Eagle looks Tobias over, noticing his worn-out clothes, his rough hands, and the way he holds his rifle like he knows how to use it but really doesn't want to. When Standing Eagle speaks again, his voice feels heavy. Yesterday, at sunset, one of my warriors was dying by the creek on your land. Tobias's stomach drops. A dying Apache warrior on his property? If the army found out, they'd think he was hiding an enemy. But if he turned the warrior away, these 200 guys would have come for revenge instead of whatever this is. Standing Eagle keeps going. Lone Wolf got shot by soldiers 3 days ago. He crawled a long way to find a quiet place to die, away from his enemies. He picked the shade under the cottonwood trees by your creek. That's Emma's favorite spot, where she plays with her dolls, collects shiny stones, and builds tiny houses out of mud and sticks. Tobias's throat goes dry as he starts to get it. My daughter, he starts to say. But Standing Eagle raises a hand to shush him. Your daughter found him there. Standing Eagle says, a little white girl with hair like corn and a blue dress torn at the bottom. That's Emma, no question. Lone Wolf thought she'd scream, run, or get men with guns. Instead, Standing Eagle pauses, and for a second, he looks almost amazed. Instead, she sat next to him. When she saw he was cold, shaking as he was dying, she took the blanket off her own shoulders, a soft wool one, clearly special to her, and covered him with it. Tobias feels like he can't breathe. Emma's blanket, the one her mom made before she passed away, the one Emma carries everywhere and can't sleep without she gave it to a dying warrior? She stayed with him, Standing Eagle says, his voice softer now. She held his hand as he died. She sang him a lullaby, a white kid's song, until he stopped breathing. Then she put wildflowers on his chest and said peaceful words over him. Tobias feels like he's been punched. His 8-year-old didn't just help an enemy warrior. She did something that sounds like an Apache burial, without even knowing it. Emma honored a warrior's death in a way that meant a ton to his people. Standing Eagle steps closer, and now Tobias sees something surprising in his eyes. Not anger, but gratitude. No white person has ever shown this kind of respect to one of our dying warriors. Your daughter gave Lone Wolf something better than gold. She gave him dignity when he died, comfort in his last moments, and respect for his spirit. But then Standing Eagle's face gets serious again, and Tobias feels a shiver. There's a problem, Tobias Whitfield. A problem that brought us here today. That word, problem, feels like a punch. Tobias grips his rifle tighter, his mind racing with awful ideas. What could Emma's kindness have messed up? What Apache rule did she accidentally break? Standing Eagle seems to see his fear. When we found Lone Wolf's body this morning, we found something else that changes everything. He reaches into a leather pouch and pulls out something that stops Tobias's heart. Emma's blue hair ribbon. The one her mom gave her. The one she wears every day. But it's got dark stains on it. Stains that look like blood. Your daughter left this by his body, Standing Eagle says, holding the ribbon up in the sunlight. But these stains aren't from Lone Wolf's wounds. Terror hits Tobias like a wave. Blood on Emma's ribbon means she's hurt, maybe badly. His little girl could be out there, injured or worse, and he's been hiding in the barn instead of looking for her. Where is she? Tobias demands, stepping forward even with 200 warriors around him. Where's my daughter? Standing Eagle's face stays unreadable. That's what we need to talk about. By Apache law, when someone shows this much honor to our dead, they become part of our tribe. Your daughter's actions tied her to us in ways white people don't get. The words hit Tobias like a brick. Apache law? Tribal ties? They're not here to thank Emma. They're here to take her. She's 8 years old, Tobias says, his voice breaking. She doesn't know your laws or customs. She was just being kind to someone in pain. That's exactly why it matters, Standing Eagle says. Kindness without expecting anything back. Compassion for an enemy. These are what make a true Apache heart. By our old customs, she belongs with us now. Behind him, the 200 warriors stay still, but Tobias feels their presence like a heavy weight. They're not negotiating, they're stating facts. In their minds, Emma's already one of them. But there's another issue, Standing Eagle says, his voice even heavier. The blood on this ribbon says your daughter got hurt while helping Lone Wolf. She might be badly injured. We need to find her fast. The thought of Emma bleeding, scared, and alone makes Tobias panic. Then let's stop talking and start looking. Every minute we waste, Standing Eagle cuts him off sharp. You don't get it. If we find her, and she's badly hurt, Apache law says we take care of her as one of our own. That means taking her to our camp, healing her with our medicine, raising her as an Apache child. The full horror hits Tobias. Emma's hurt and missing. The Apache want to claim her, and even if they find her alive, their laws might take her away from them forever. Standing Eagle watches Tobias's scared face for a long moment before speaking. There's one way to fix this, one way that respects both Apache law and a father's love. Hope sparks in Tobias's chest, but Standing Eagle's next words crush it. You must prove you're worthy of raising an Apache daughter. You must pass 3 tests to show you understand our ways, our values, our connection to the spirit world. Only then can you keep her. Tobias feels like the ground's moving under him. 3 tests? Apache challenges that could be anything: fighting, spiritual stuff, or impossible tasks. What if I refuse? He asks, though he knows the answer. Standing Eagle's face turns hard as stone. Then we take the girl when we find her, and you never see her again. Suddenly, A sound makes both men freeze, a faint, desperate cry of a child calling for help. It cuts through the morning air again, weak and scared. Tobias and Standing Eagle turn toward it, coming from the old mine shaft half a mile east of the farm. Without thinking, Tobias starts running, but Standing Eagle grabs his arm tight. "Wait," he says. "This could be a trap. Soldiers sometimes use hurt kids as bait to trick our warriors." Tobias stares at him, shocked. "That's my daughter crying. I don't care if it's a trap. I'm not leaving her." But Standing Eagle holds firm. "If you run in and get killed, who'll do the tests? Who'll prove they can raise an Apache daughter? Think like a dad, not a fool." It's harsh, but Tobias knows he's right. If he dies, Emma's theirs for good. Standing Eagle raises his hand, and 20 warriors get off their horses, moving toward the mine shaft like ghosts, slipping behind rocks and bushes. Super sneaky and fast. "They'll check the area," Standing Eagle says. "If it's safe, we'll get your daughter. If it's a trap." He doesn't finish, but Tobias gets it. He watches amazed as the Apache scouts blend into the land like they're invisible. These aren't the wild raiders the newspapers talk about. They're like expert soldiers. In minutes, a scout comes back and signals to Standing Eagle, who looks grim. She's there. She's alive, but she's trapped. Relief and fear hit Tobias at once. Trapped how? The old mine shaft caved in a bit. She fell through rotten boards covering the entrance. She's about 15 feet down, and rocks are still falling. Any wrong move could bring the whole thing down. The situation's worse than Tobias thought. The mine's been abandoned forever. Its support's rotting. Emma's stuck in a death trap. "We need ropes, supports, something to hold up the walls," Tobias says, thinking fast. But Standing Eagle shakes his head. "No time. The scouts say the supports are failing. We've got maybe 20 minutes before the whole thing buries her alive." Tobias's mind races. An instant rescue could cause a collapse and kill Emma. But waiting for proper gear means she dies when the shaft falls. Standing Eagle looks at him, serious. "This is your first test, Tobias Whitfield. Not the one I planned, but the one the spirits gave us. You choose. Try a quick rescue that might kill her, or trust Apache ways you don't understand." "What Apache ways?" Tobias asks. "Our medicine man, Silent Thunder, thinks he can talk to the mine spirits. Ask them to hold the rock steady for a rescue. But you need total faith. Any doubt, any meddling, and it won't work." Tobias's brain screams that this is nonsense. Talking to rocks? That's old school stuff civilized people don't believe. But then Emma's scared voice comes from the mine shaft again, weaker now, and he's stuck with an impossible choice. Trust Apache beliefs he doesn't get, or stick to normal rescue ideas that might take too long. Standing Eagle's eyes lock onto his. "What's it worth, white man? Your daughter's life, or your pride? If you were Tobias, what would you pick? Trust the Apache's weird spiritual stuff, or go with regular rescue methods that might be too slow? Tell me in the comments, because what Tobias chooses next decides if Emma lives or dies in the next 20 minutes. Tobias closes his eyes, fighting everything he's learned about science and logic. But when he hears Emma's faint "daddy" from deep in the mine, all that falls apart. "Tell me what to do," he says quietly. Standing Eagle nods, maybe a little impressed. "First, know that Silent Thunder isn't just our medicine man. He worked in these mines 20 years ago, before the Apache Wars. He knows every tunnel, every support, every weak spot." Relief hits Tobias. This isn't just spiritual stuff. It's real knowledge mixed with Apache beliefs. Silent Thunder knows the mine's actual structure. An old Apache man appears like magic, his face all wrinkled, but his eyes sharp. He's got a pouch with colored stones and small bones. Without a word, he kneels by the mine shaft and starts placing them in a careful pattern around the opening. He's asking the mountain spirits to hold steady. Standing Eagle explains as Silent Thunder starts chanting in a low, rhythmic voice. But he's also listening to the mine sounds, feeling for shakes that show which supports are about to break. Tobias watches, amazed, as Silent Thunder's hands move over the rocks. like he's reading tiny changes in the stone small. Shifts, temperature changes, faint vibrations. Emma, Tobias calls into the dark. Can you hear me, sweetheart? Daddy, her voice comes back, weak but clear. I'm scared. My leg hurts really bad, and rocks are falling. Silent Thunder says something fast to Standing Eagle, who translates. She's on a narrow ledge, about 15 feet down. Her left leg's broken, but she's not about to fall further. The beam above her is cracking, though. We've got maybe 10 minutes before it breaks. 10 minutes? Tobias's panic grows, but he stays calm. What do we do? Someone light but strong needs to go down, Standing Eagle says. They have to lift her out with perfect moves. One wrong step, and the whole shaft collapses. Standing Eagle points to a young warrior, skinny but all muscle. Swift Hawk will go. He's done cave rescues before. But Tobias shakes his head. No, she's my daughter. She's scared and hurt. If a stranger grabs her, she might freak out and move wrong. It's gotta be me. You're too heavy, Standing Eagle says flat out. You'll collapse the ledge. Then teach me to move like you do. Your men vanish into the land like ghosts. Show me how to be lighter, how to read the mind like Silent Thunder. Standing Eagle stares at him for a long moment. This is crazy dangerous. She's my daughter, Tobias says. I won't let her think I left her. Silent Thunder speaks again, urgent, and Standing Eagle translates. The cracking's getting worse. 8 minutes max. Without another word, Standing Eagle starts pulling off Tobias's heavy boots and belt anything, adding extra weight. Apache way. You become part of the mountain, not fight it. Feel for solid stone before each step. Spread your weight out. Move like water, not a man. He hands Tobias a braided leather rope. This'll hold you and her, but only if the anchor points stay steady. Tobias looks into the dark mine shaft where Emma waits, hurt and scared. In 8 minutes, it'll collapse. He's got one shot. As he starts to climb down, Silent Thunder grabs his arm and says in rough English, Mountain spirits test your heart. You go down as a white man, come up as a father. Trust the stone, trust your daughter, trust Apache way. If you're loving this story and gotta know how Tobias saves Emma, hit subscribe, because this rescue's about to get wilder. Tobias takes his first step into the mine shaft, and the whole thing shakes like the mountain's breathing. He freezes, barefoot on the wooden ladder, every muscle tight, waiting to see if he caused a collapse. Above, Silent Thunder's chanting gets louder, and somehow, the creaking wood quiets down. The old man's not just doing a ritual, he's listening to the mine sounds, checking every beam in real time. Daddy, Emma's voice comes from below, small and scared. I heard something breaking. I'm coming, sweetheart, Tobias calls softly, keeping his voice calm. Stay super still, okay? Don't move anything but your mouth. He climbs down carefully, testing each rung before putting his weight on it. Standing Eagle was right. Moving like the Apache means feeling the world around you, finding weak spots before they break. At 10 feet down, Tobias sees Emma in the dim light. She's curled up on a tiny stone ledge, her left leg bent all wrong, her face streaked with tears and dirt. But she's alive, looking up at him with big, hopeful eyes. There's my brave girl, he whispers, moving down slowly. You're doing awesome, Emma. Just stay brave a little longer. The beam above her ledge is split right down the middle, barely holding together. Any shake could snap it, dropping tons of rock on her dot. When he reaches her, Tobias balances on the ledge, spreading his weight out. Emma tries to hug him, but he stops her gently. Easy, sweetheart. We gotta move super careful. Your legs hurt, and this mine's not steady. Emma nods, tears falling. It hurts so bad, Daddy, and I was so scared when the rocks fell. I thought you wouldn't find me. I'll always find you, Tobias says, his voice shaky with love. No matter where you are, Daddy's coming. He starts tying the rope around them both, making a harness to pull them up together. But then a new sound echoes horses, lots of them. Through the shaft's opening, Tobias hears Standing Eagle shouting orders in Apache. Then his voice calls, down, soldiers coming, a whole cavalry patrol. 3 minutes till they're here. If the army sees 200 Apache warriors on Tobias's land, They'll think it's an attack and start shooting, turning the farm into a war zone. And if Tobias and Emma are still in the mine when that happens, Standing Eagle shouts again, more urgent. The soldiers will think we're holding you hostage. They won't talk, they'll attack. You gotta come up now. But the rope's not fully tied. Emma's leg needs to be steadied, and the beam above is creaking louder, ready to break. Tobias hears the soldiers' horses getting closer, along, with shouts and the clink of weapons. Emma looks up, scared. "Daddy, what's happening? Why do you look so scared?" Tobias is stuck. If they stay to finish the rescue right, they'll be trapped when the shooting starts. If they rush up with Emma hurt and the mine shaky, they could cause a collapse. Above, 200 Apache warriors are about to face a cavalry charge while standing. Eagle tries to explain something no soldier will believe. The horses get louder. The cavalry bursts into view, 24 soldiers in blue, guns ready, led by a young lieutenant who goes pale when he sees the Apache army around the farm. From 15 feet underground, Tobias hears it all through the shaft. The lieutenant yells, nervous, but loud. "This is Lieutenant Morrison of the 5th Cavalry. Let your hostages go, or we shoot." Standing Eagle's voice is calm, but tense. "We have no hostages, soldier. We're here on honor, doing a rescue." "I see 200 armed Apache around a settler's farm," Morrison snaps. "That's a siege. Where's Tobias Whitfield?" The beam above Emma groans, and small rocks fall past their ledge. Time's running out. Standing Eagle tries again. "Whitfield's in the mine with his hurt daughter. We're helping save her. No one's hurt." But Morrison doesn't buy it. "Apache don't help settlers, Chief. They raid them. You've got 30 seconds to show me Whitfield alive, or we shoot." It's ridiculous, Standing Eagle's telling the truth, but it's so wild no soldier would believe it. Apache saving a white kid? No way. Tobias makes a quick choice. "Emma, we're going up now. Hold me tight, but don't move your hurt leg." He pulls the rope to signal the Apache to lift them, but as they move off the ledge, Emma's leg bumps the wall. Her cry of pain echoes, and the vibrations. Enough. The beam snaps with a boom like thunder. Rocks start falling as the mine begins to collapse. Tobias pulls Emma close, pressing them against the wall as debris rains down. The rope yanks upward fast. Apache heard the collapse and are pulling hard. Above, the mine's crash makes Morrison think the worst. "They're killing the hostages." He yells, "Open fire!" 24 guns fire at once, but instead of fighting back, the Apache do something crazy. They all get off their horses, put their weapons down, and raise their hands. 200 of Kansas's toughest warriors surrender without a shot. Morrison stares, shocked, as Standing Eagle walks forward, hands up, shouting, "Hold your fire." A man and his kid are in that collapsing mine. "We're trying to save them." Right then, Tobias and Emma burst out of the mine shaft, pulled by the Apache ropes. Just as the whole thing caves in behind them, they roll on the ground, coughing, covered in dust, but alive. Morrison's gun shakes as he tries to understand. The Apache are around a white man and child, but they're not hurting them. They're checking for injuries, giving water, treating them like treasures. Standing Eagle helps Tobias up, his voice clear. "Lieutenant Morrison, here's Tobias Whitfield and his daughter Emma, alive and safe, thanks to Apache help." Morrison lowers his gun, confused. "I don't get it. Why would Apache warriors risk their lives for settlers?" Standing Eagle looks at Emma, clinging to her dad despite her broken leg, then at Morrison. "Because, soldier, this kid showed honor to one of our dying warriors. She gave him dignity when he died, when she could have just walked away." Morrison's eyes move from the Apache to the collapsed mine to Tobias and Emma, trying to wrap his head around something that goes against everything he's learned about Indians. But Standing Eagle's not done. This rescue was only the first test. By Apache law, Tobias Whitfield has 2 more challenges to face. Morrison's even more confused. What challenges? Standing Eagle looks at Tobias, serious. "The kind that prove if a white man can raise an Apache daughter." Morrison shakes his head. "I don't have time for Indian ceremonies. This is U.S. territory, and these Apache need to go back to their reservation now." But Standing Eagle steps forward, calm but firm. Lieutenant, your government respects Apache law for our people. This child became one of us through her actions. The law must be followed. Morrison's hand twitches toward his gun, but Tobias speaks up, surprising everyone. Let him finish, Lieutenant. My daughter helped a dying man, and these warriors saved her from that mine. I owe them a chance to explain. Standing Eagle nods, respectful. The second test is this. You must show you understand sacrifice. When your daughter gave her blanket to Lone Wolf, she gave up something super special to comfort someone else. Can you do that? Tobias frowns. What do you want me to give up? This farm, this land you've worked so hard for. Sign it over to the Apache, and we'll know you get what your daughter did. The request hits Tobias hard. This farm's everything, his job, his future, Emma's future. It's years of hard work, every penny he saved, every dream for his daughter. Morrison steps in mad. You can't just take someone's land. But Tobias is looking at Emma, who trusts him completely despite her pain. She gave up her favorite thing without thinking twice. Can he do less? If I give up the farm, Tobias says slowly, where will Emma and I live? How will I take care of her? Standing Eagle's face gives nothing away. That's not our problem. You wanted to prove you're worthy. This is the cost. The farm goes quiet, except for the wind in the cottonwood trees. 200 Apache warriors watch. 24 soldiers wait, and Emma looks at her dad, believing he'll do the right thing. Tobias closes his eyes, thinking of his wife's dreams for this place, the years he spent building it. Then he looks at Emma, alive and trusting him. Where do I sign? Standing Eagle stares, then smiles. You don't sign anything, Tobias. Whitfield, this was the test, not giving up your land, but choosing your daughter's honor over your own comfort. You passed. Relief floods Tobias, but Standing Eagle keeps going. The third test is simple, but maybe the hardest. You must accept that Emma's part of two worlds, white and Apache. You have to promise to teach her both ways, to respect both parts of who she is. Can you do that? Tobias looks at Emma, who's shown more wisdom and bravery in 8 years than most grown-ups ever do. I promise. Standing Eagle pulls something from his pouch that makes Emma gasp her blue wool blanket, cleaned and fixed, but definitely hers. Lone Wolf's spirit told us where to find this. He wanted your daughter to have it back, with thanks for her kindness. As Emma hugs her, blanket crying happy tears, Standing Eagle speaks to the soldiers and warriors. Let today be remembered. A white kid showed us honor and kindness, don't care about race or tribe. And a white dad proved he's worthy of raising an Apache daughter. One by one, the Apache warriors get on their horses. Before leaving, Standing Eagle puts his hand on Emma's head in a blessing and shakes Tobias's arm. When she's older, she'll be welcome in any Apache camp. She earned that right, and you earned the right to guide her there. As the Apache ride off and the soldiers get ready to leave, Morrison shakes his head, amazed. In 20 years out here, I've never seen anything like this. Tobias sits with Emma as the sunset turns the sky orange and red, holding her close. As she hugs her blanket, Daddy, she says softly, I didn't know giving someone a blanket could cause so much trouble. Tobias smiles, touching her soft hair. Sometimes, sweetheart, the biggest things we do seem so small at the time. You helped someone who needed it, and that changed everything. Emma Whitfield grew up to be one of the most respected teachers in Kansas, speaking both English and Apache, connecting two worlds that seemed impossible to join. She never forgot that a simple kind act could turn enemies into friends. Tobias never remarried, spending his life raising his amazing daughter and respecting the Apache wisdom that saved them. His farm became a place where settlers and Apache could meet peacefully, showing what understanding can do. Standing Eagle kept his promise. Emma was always welcome in Apache camps, where she learned their crafts and stories. When she got married years later, warriors from his tribe came to her wedding, honoring the kid who showed that courage and kindness can grow in any heart. The blanket Emma gave to Lone Wolf became a symbol passed down through generations, reminding everyone that true honor doesn't care about race, age, or situation. If you loved this awesome story of bravery and kindness, hit subscribe for more cool tales from the Old West. Now click the video on the screen for a story even better than this one, with courage so big and a twist so wild you won't forget it anytime soon. Click the video